Hey, it's Laura over at Hyperstamper. Welcome back. I have a really fun journal today. This one is a vintage book called A Treasury of Laughter. The book itself is from the 40s and the beads are all vintage, and these are actually a beautiful burgundy if you catch them in the light properly. Very old and very cool. I love the spine. I love everything about this book. It's actually a pretty good size too. Just dropped my ruler. Okay, it is 5 3/4 by 8.5. So that's a really good size for a junk journal. And the everything in here is authentic antique and vintage ephemera. Everything. There are 80 pages front and back, plus about another 20 inserts. So a ton of places for you to journal on. I've got gobs of pockets. This thing is stuffed, so if you can hang in there, watch it to the end, because it's just one surprise after the other. So I tried to theme this around laughter and humor. So the original first pages are hilarious. Look at this. It's so typical of 40s artwork. Look at it. Grin, shout, titter, cackle, die with laughter. It's just awesome. Great first page there. It's got the date on here. Yeah, 1940s. In the pocket here, I found a photograph from the 40s with just people laughing, and I thought that was perfect. So a great photograph for that. I made this wonderful pocket here out of vintage stamp collector's page with the stamp still on there. And it's got 3 pockets. So this one has a 1950s receipt in it. This one here has a page from the book, and it's got the look at that little comedy illustration there. I think it's hysterical. And that's in that pocket there. And then on the back pocket, I have this wonderful children's book page that says Keeping Happy. Isn't that wonderful? A little song on the back. So, I mean, that alone, just that awesome. So tuck that all back in there. And on the flip side, this is a stereoscope from the 1800s, 1899 to be exact. Date is there. But it's a joke stereoscope. So it's these 3 women who found a man hiding under their bed, and it says, "A man, at last a man." It's meant to be hilarious from the 1800s. So I put that in there as well. I used the spine of this book here and just tucked a little antique paper in there. And this is a vintage postcard. My sister gave this to me, and she said it's from the 70s. And it's just a hilarious image of 2 dogs having sodas with hats on. Isn't that what all dogs do? You don't know what the joke is. A little hidden journaling spot there. And this is just a fun photograph, also from the 30s. It's a masquerade party. Now you have to remember, this is 1930s, and these costumes are fantastic. But I just thought they were all trying to be funny and humorous, and I thought it was perfect for this journal. And over here, the Paris, France Almanac. They always have these satirical comics up on both sides. And lots of little cartoons in there. Throw them in Google Translate. You can see what they say. That's from 1938, during the war. Where there's a will, there's a way. And then just some wonderful children's book pages of happiness. This is not antique, and it's barely 20 years old, but I did want to include it because it says humor is the lubricant that keeps family gears turning. And I just thought that was really awesome for this book. This is just a 1930s Monopoly card. Ventnor Avenue and Salt Lake City map here. And this is from a 1955 American Highways road map book. Really old 1800s paper here that I've mounted on top of this wonderful children's book page. These little beavers. And another one over here. I just thought it was sweet. We've got a southern border here. And then this here I pulled from another book here. And it's a sense of humor, and it's all about that little explanation. And I just thought this was a hilarious vintage postcard. It was actually printed in 1989, so not too old, but still vintage. And the world's largest cheese, and I thought that was hilarious. Look at all the ribbons it won. So I'm gonna guess that is from Wisconsin. There we go. Okay, so little 1800s Watchman's Guard dial there. Just a really cool piece of ephemera. Again, some happy children. And this came from the book, Treasury of Laughter. More antique book pages, vintage sewing pages. Another wonderful little children's book page from the 20s. This is from pre-1910 here, from the dog story book. And this here is from 1942. And I chose this cover because it's got the symbols down here for comedy and tragedy. I thought that was awesome. I made this pocket here, and I did leave them blank on both sides so somebody can stuff their own things in here. I really couldn't put much more in this journal without it weighing 1,000 pounds. So another children's book page. And this here is really cool. I put in here a comedy from that January 1959 Theater Arts magazine page there. And it's an off-Broadway show. And then this is just made me happy. I just think it's hysterical. Let Vel do your dishes. And wonderful articles here. Luster cream, just awesome. So really fun. And I thought this was a very funny picture from the 1930s. So I thought it was humorous. So in it went a tiger wearing a hat and slippers. Come on, that's funny. That's funny. And I made this vintage tag, botanical and eggplants from one of those dynamo label makers. And then on the other side, it has the word laughter. There it is, laughter and laugh. And this is a 1940s cross stitch on cotton. And just a fun little cluster here, botanical page vintage, a 1970s vintage receipt here, and a vintage bird page from a North American bird book in the 70s. This is 1001 Household Hints from the 50s, 1930s children's book page. Oh my goodness, so much stuff. This came from a roll call book, the Beacon Lodge. And I put another pocket in here. And in here I have this another wonderful 1959 scene from a play on Broadway, off Broadway. And look at this. It is a vintage card. Look at this hilarious Joker. So we have to have a Joker in a laughter journal, right? And I loved playing Yahtzee. I used to play it. It was fun. So I thought, because it's fun, a vintage Yahtzee scorecard in there. And then in here, there's another pocket back here. A Joker, another Joker from this book. And then I pulled this from 1940s Theater Arts magazine, and it has acting and musical comedy. I had so much fun finding all of the ephemera for this. I really did. I hope whoever gets this journal finds humor and fun in it and adds their own special touch. Vintage bird book page here. And that brings us to the end. I am putting that on Etsy now, hyperstamper.etsy.com. I hope you'll subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.